Hi, this is Mark from GradeHub, and I'm here with Jennifer Balogh, a testing expert and author of A Practical Guide to Creating Quality Exams. If you missed our last segment on reviewing overall exam statistics, please check that out. With this installment, we're discussing percentiles and distributions. Jennifer, thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Mark.
So Jennifer, why should an instructor review distributions and percentiles for her exam?
Percentiles and distributions give you a lot of information about what is the spread of the students across the different scores. And it can be useful for a lot of your reasons. One, a lot of people use percentiles for interpretation. So students, for example, want to know, was I near the middle of students? Was I above average, below average? And percentiles and the general distribution will help students understand where they are so that they can monitor their learning and try to shoot for the upper half of the distribution of students. The other thing that teachers sometimes use percentiles for is a different kind of grading approaches. Percentiles are very useful, for example, if you're grading on the bell curve, because it provides a lot of the computation that you're going to use for that kind of scoring.
So how are distributions and percentiles similar, and how do they differ?
A distribution is simply how many students are scoring at a certain level on your test. A percentile is quantifying that a percentile is quantifying that by showing you the percentage of scores of the students that performed at a particular score or lower.
Okay. Now, here's like our last installment. Can you go through GradeHub's percentile report and so we can learn how you would interpret these results?
Sure, and I love the graphic here because you can be presented with so many different numbers. It's great to be able to look at the distribution at a glance. So I think that's a very nice representation there. What you see on the left is the score, so the percent out of 100 of how the student performed, the number of points, and then what you see in the student column is the frequency of students who scored a certain number of points. So what you can see here is it can give you an idea of where the middle tendency is. So the highest point on that distribution is going to be called the mode. And you can see by looking at the student column that 6 people scored 17 points. That's going to be the mode of your distribution. It's another way of trying to understand where's the middle. And that's good for you to know, to see if in general students performed well or not so well on the test. Okay, the next column is the cumulative percent. And that's going to give you an idea of how many students, what percent of students scored at a certain level, and how many students are below that level, counting up. And then from there, you've got percentiles in the rightmost column. And there again, you are looking at the percentage of students who achieved a certain score, received a certain number of points, and it's the percentage of those students and all the students below them. And so you can see, again, with the 50th percentile, you know that's somewhere in between 16 and 17 points in this example.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I never thought of that way of figuring out another way of figuring out where the middle of your class is by looking at your percentiles.
Yeah, because you're right, and you can see that reflected in the median. The median is the middle score, so it's actually the 50th percentile.
Okay, well, thanks, Jennifer, for sharing your insights. To learn more about GradeHub, visit us or schedule a demo on our website at gradehub.com.